Today I'll be attempting the 100 days Minecraft challenge in hardcore mode. This means if I make one mistake, it's all over. The world is deleted, and for the cherry on top, I'm not going to be using totems of undying, as it ruins the whole objective of hardcore. It's the first few seconds and I'm already entering the nether. After searching, we are already at the blaze spawner. All I need is a few more rods and I'm out of here. After a few minutes, I finally spotted the bastion variant with the gold blocks. And after taking what felt like a century to gather all the biglins of the area into a small hole with aggregating them, I am now almost ready for the end fight. I just have to make sure I have all the necessary wood for beds and bowls. And the ice heading this way. A few thousand blocks and we're already in the ocean. The stronghold is here, and yes, it is. Exactly down the start staircase. At this point, this was going too well. I hadn't lost any much hearts. I found food and no close encounters with death until now. I've placed this bed in this bad spot which could have ended the run, but I luckily didn't click it, so nothing bad's going to happen, hopefully. And it's already day 12, which is equivalent to around 4 real life hours, which is pretty slow. The day counter on the top says 11, which is due to editing times differing at some points in the run, because losing track of days makes it a little difficult to guess. The fight was pretty boring. A few close calls occurred, but nothing special. I was playing it too safe just in case, as I don't want history to repeat itself. I guess the dragon is down now. I just need to gather the experience to enchant my armor at some point in the future. I also made sure to take the dragon egg home, as it's a trophy or a piece of decoration. Currently my eyes are set on the outer end islands, as I need to get the lighter as soon as possible. It will make my traveling much easier. I also luckily found an end city too close to the remote gateway, which saved me hours of bridging across endless gaps. The Elytra is finally acquired after no less than 5 hours of playing, which is much slower than my best pace. I also got all the health potions, as they're extremely useful in the nether dimension. I also found a bunch of good armor pieces, which saved me a ton of time in the long run. You can't ask for any better loot. It's currently day 15 and I've gathered many elytras, and all that's left at this point is building my starter base, which is probably going to be my base for the next 80 days. I chopped a bunch of trees to have enough resources to build ID and mine, and I guess that more wouldn't hurt. I also tried to gather as many leaves as I could fit in my inventory in hopes of building the Enderman XP farm as soon as possible. That is, of course, to have a flowing source of experience. I then looted the nearby villages. I trapped the villagers for their own sake and took all the hay bales. That is, to provide me a good food source until I start building my first crop farm in the base. Anyways, I started by flattening out the area to build my house in it. I had to make sure it looked the best it could, even though the land around needed a lot of transformation, which I will do at the end. I just wanted it to look half decent. Half of the house is basically an entrance with a fountain and a bunch of stairs and slabs, which would hopefully look good. I had to make use of the resources I had, considering if I tried to farm any rare blocks such as skulk, I might lose all my progress, so I played it really safe. I also built a crop farm. I tried saving as much blocks as I could because I hoped to build greater things one day. I also tried taming a wolf, but she refused my bone, so I had to find some skeletons in order to bribe the dog on my side. I also got a raid potion from this raiders, but I guess it wouldn't do me any good, as I can't use totems and raids are risky without any much reward for me. I also found a ruined portal, which is pretty useful. I then made my first enchantment table and got all the bookshelves from the library in the stronghold. I also realized now that I don't have any lapis whatsoever, so I went mining for lapis, iron, gold, and this didn't take long as I already have a good pickaxe. I then went to the nearest desert I could find, which was few hundred blocks away. I gathered as much sand as I could carry because I hope not to come back anytime soon. And if you're asking why I need the sand, well, it's for the windows of my house, and the concrete powder which I'm going to use in a future project. As I waited for the sand to smelt, I tested out my luck with enchanting. It took a few minutes and a bunch of levels, but I got most of the enchantments I wanted. All was missing is just getting mending from a villager. And the deal is sealed. 22 emeralds aren't a bad trade considering I have to infect and cure the villagers. But until then, I just need as many emeralds as possible, which is achievable best with a stick trade. So I gathered wood from the nearby forest and turned the brown into green. I waited day after day for the villagers to restock their trades so I can rip them off. By now I've had a few mending books which wouldn't get me far, but it's better than nothing. I then went mining for the second time in a few days. I lost the OBS recording, but it's fine. I've got the replay recording sped up a few hundred times, and by the very first half of the 100 days, I've already gotten a pretty good food source. Full diamond armor tools and all the enchanted equipment, besides a really great base. I just need to build an Enderman farm, so I'm getting more leaves for the platform and design. Linking the bolts to the end was a little difficult, but I figured it out. Now you can watch me build the Enderman farm. I was really careful because I don't want to risk losing anything. This part was pretty crazy considering that I had to place blocks on Y level 0, which literally meant going lower to place the blocks. This farm reduces a ton of experience in short times and I can go away from keyboard for as long as possible. As long as I have food, an Enderman can reach me. I've finished enchanting and I guess I can watch the sunset on my 55th day. Now I'm transporting the villagers underground closer to my base. And I need these two especially as they can have the most important traits. And I can breed them anytime I want. I went with a cobblestone for the inside, which wasn't the best choice, but it was one of the few choices I had and the cheapest. I hoped into turning it to endstone at some point. I stayed away from keyboard for a long time. I lost track of time, but I wanted to make sure I wouldn't have to AFK anymore. Anyways, I went ancient debris mining. I got enough for 9 ingots, which is more than enough. I even crafted the blocks just to show off. I then killed all the villagers after I let a zombie in and I wanted cheapest traits. Currently on day 69 and I did more trading to max out my netherite armor. All I needed is placing mending, and my XP levels are going down like crazy. I had to go mining to get more ores for the beacon and netherite upgrades. I then got the wither skeleton skulls for the wither so I can craft the beacon. Finally, I trapped the wither underneath here. And in this time lapse I got all the ores for the beacon, which took no less than a few hours. I finally built the beacon using a mix of all the blocks. It was a little costly, but I wished to build an iron farm someday, as I already have all the villages. Day 81, it's like 80% of the challenge is done, and all the rest is a maze. As this is Minecraft version 1.21, I went to a few trade chambers, which took time to get the maps for the cartographers. And after all this time, I finally got the heavy ore. And after all this time, I finally got the heavy core. We can now craft the mace. This was day 85, so I've had been searching for it in no less than 100 minutes. I now need to enchant it. I got density 4 on the first try and I combined it with fire aspect and attempted using knockback. I also tried getting the new advancement, which is pretty risky, but worth it. It was really fun against the mobs at night. And then I transformed my base after all this time. I had to make sure I'm living the world while it's looking its best. Having finished every goal I had in mind, I then got gravel for the concrete, which would be the final project of the video. 100 days logo, which you do not want to miss at the end. It's not the biggest project out there, but gives me an idea. I later bred 1,000 dogs in this very same world if you wanna watch that video on my channel. It was uploaded a few weeks ago. It was down to the final hours. It has been a long time and I guess I'm pretty happy with the progress. And this is around day 98. I took time renaming the items I have, but I didn't have much XP for the axe. And I wanted to spend the final day at the base in order to avoid losing the final few days. Everything is currently enchanted and I guess it's a pretty successful episode.